Good afternoon. My name is Vivian Connell. As a current North Carolina public school teacher, a 2013 graduate of Carolina Law and new member of the State Bar, I speak today to all North Carolinians who recognize the importance of both quality public education and quality legislation in preserving our social and economic fabric. First of all, public education in North Carolina is not failing. On 2011 international test, the most recent, on 8th grade science and math proficiency, North Carolina students scored 3rd in the nation. And with a 42-point gain since 1999, North Carolina had the 2nd highest improvement in performance of all U.S. states. We should be applauding North Carolina educators who now teach a population of students, fully half of whom qualify for free and reduced lunch. Research has proven that the main factor influencing low academic performance is concentrated poverty. Teachers in our schools battle an achievement gap created not by poor instruction, but by social and economic challenges. Whatever lawmakers want to say about teachers, they cannot voice the responsibility for income inequality or the mortgage crisis upon North Carolina's educators. Despite the trials of the past few years, North Carolina teachers are at work today. I'll be returning to work. We're instructing the vast majority of North Carolina's children, our future, your future. Teachers need our support, and make no mistake, North Carolina needs its teachers. Providing quality education is and has been a core value of both Democrats and Republicans in the state for 60 years. In a recent lecture, former Governor Jim Hunt reminded the crowd that he was succeeded by and preceded by a great Republican governor, Jim Martin, a teacher himself, who kept public funding for education strong. He supported North Carolina Teaching Fellows and our proven pre-K programs that were national models and which, along with our leading public university system, made our state renowned for excellent education. Raleigh shot to the top of the best places to live in America list, and development in the Triangle and in our banking and finance sectors boomed. Now, this GOP-led North Carolina General Assembly has ended the Teaching Fellows program and is currently facing a lawsuit for its cuts to pre-K. In summation, this year's General Assembly has effectively undone 60 years of education progress in a mere 6 months, and they must be stopped. This legislature's education policies are ill-conceived, infeasible, and insulting. Ill-conceived policies 1 and 2. Expanding and deregulating charter schools and diverting North Carolina's public tax revenues to provide vouchers for a few select students to attend private schools. These policies have failed spectacularly in other states. Louisiana, Florida, Wisconsin, Texas is abandoning merit pay. These policies weaken public education, and they invariably fail to produce the promised gains in student achievement. Ill-conceived policy number 3. Denying teachers pay for advanced degrees. Governor Hunt echoed the story you've heard today of a North Carolina superintendent whose daughter just went to teach in South Carolina, where she can make $41,000 a year. She would have to teach in North Carolina 15 years to reach that level. And the people in South Carolina told her, we love North Carolina because of North Carolina's low teacher pay. We get all the special ed, math, and science teachers we want. 4 days later, when Representative Skip Stam and Dr. Terry Stoops of the John Locke Foundation responded to a question about losing teachers at a North Carolina law event, they said, well, that might happen. Newsflash, North Carolina, it is happening. That was not planned. Applications to our colleges of education are down, and so the question comes up. How do our lawmakers hope to recruit and retain quality teachers? Are they even motivated to preserve public education? In addition to these ill-conceived plans to implement programs that have already failed in other states, this General Assembly's latest plan to purchase teachers' career status is utterly infeasible and insulting. In addition to eliminating all teachers' rights to due process by 2018, this legislature has mandated that all districts somehow identify 25% of teachers performing proficiently to get these 4-year contracts and bonuses if the teachers will give up their career status immediately. The statute specifies no guidelines to ensure fairness, none to ensure consistency, or even to direct implementation of this legislation. How are the districts to choose the 25% of proficient teachers? The statute does not say. Must the superintendent justify his or her actions? No. Do we have research to indicate that top performing quarter of North Carolina's teachers are evenly distributed among districts or schools? No. Can a system, as some have already wanted to, who want to retract this arbitrary and unfair scheme, can they refuse to identify this 25%? No. It is essentially what we call an unfunded mandate to the districts from the state, the likes of which these GOP lawmakers would find infuriating if it came to them from Washington. Additionally, they have failed to fund even the first installment of the 4 promised payments to teachers who take this deal. This is what I have flippantly called education policy written with a crayon on the back of a napkin. It is indeed, in earnest, education policy and legislation unworthy of North Carolina's educators and citizens. If a teacher presented a lesson plan with the quality of this statute, one with inaccurate numbers, with no direction, no consistency or supporting rationale, that teacher would be marked as deficient in planning. If only we could apply that same standard to the lawmakers who wrote this embarrassing legislation. This attempt to bribe North Carolina educators to give up the career status for a morsel of what they are owed is ill-conceived in purpose, infeasible in specifics, and insulting in its implications. I urge my fellow teachers to reject this offer and to refuse to relinquish your contractual right to due process for the pittance that this General Assembly offers but cannot even guarantee that you will ever receive.
No deal!
No deal. I would make them pry my right to due process from my cold, dead fingers. Make no mistake, North Carolina, the goal of this GOP legislature's extreme policies is to transform public education from a cherished civic responsibility, one that made North Carolina great, into a consumer marketplace, thus dividing North Carolina's children into educational haves and have-nots, making a child's ability to access quality education dependent upon the luck of his or her birth. We believe it is imperative that North Carolinians maintain excellent public education for all children. We must rush to put our teachers' salaries and working conditions at least back on par with those in other states, and we speak today for those educators on the brink of losing the advanced degree pay and job security they were guaranteed at signing and upon which they relied. Finally, we implore all moderate, forward-looking North Carolinians to insist that their leaders reject these regressive education policies and instead commit to maintaining excellent public schools for the common good of our economy, for the future of all of our children, and for the future of North Carolina itself. Thank you.